Hey, did you know that it's the smallest of habits that create the biggest changes over time? Implementing small, healthy habits over time make the biggest of differences. So often people are looking for that one thing that's going to help them lose weight or, get in shape, get rid of their menopause belly, when it's usually just small changes over time, just baby steps, which is very good news. Those are the things that help to get lasting and sustainable results. Now, in this video, I want to share my top tip habit that will help you get those results. And it's the one thing that I really believe is helped me maintain my weight over time. And I'm basically the same weight as I was in high school. And I believe that my composition is actually more favorable now. So it's not all about the weight, it's all about body composition. So the one healthy habit that I'd love for you to consider is food tracking. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, that's, takes time and it's, clunky and it's inconvenient. Yes, there are some cons to food tracking, but the fact is that nearly everything is going to take a little bit of effort, and once you get into the habit of food tracking, you're going to reap some big benefits. If you make yourself a promise that you're going to start food tracking and anything you eat is going to be tracked before you eat it, I can promise you that you are going to benefit, because there's always an upgrade in intake once you have an idea of what your intake consists of. So for example, if you want to have an Oreo cookie and you've made the promise that you're going to food track, so you track the Oreo cookie, chances are you're going to have that one Oreo cookie, but less likely that you're going to have the whole sleeve, because you're going to see what's in that Oreo cookie. And guess what? There's food freedom with food tracking. There's no food that's good or bad, evil or angelic. The fact is that food is food. We just want to have a variety of foods, and some foods in moderation. So maybe we don't want to have a steady diet of Oreo cookies if we want to be healthy. But the fact is if you really need to have that Oreo cookie, you want to have that glass of wine, you want to have that piece of pizza, with food tracking, you definitely can, especially when you get a professional nutritional plan whereby you know how many carbs, how much fat, how many proteins you should be having daily. Then if you want to have that glass of wine on Friday night, or it's somebody's birthday and you want to have the piece of cake, you can change your macros around during that day to fit that item in. And the fact is that when no food is off limit, they become less tempting. So as soon as you say, I can never have another Oreo cookie, what do you want? You always want that Oreo cookie. And I don't even like Oreo cookies. I'm just using that as an example. But the fact is that food tracking helps you connect the dots between what you're eating and how you're feeling, what you're eating and the results you're getting. It helps keep top of mind awareness, because it puts pause between the time you crave or want to eat something and the time it gets in your mouth. Because a lot of times that's all you need to do is just think, slow down for 5 minutes. Because sometimes that sleeve of cookies could be eaten within that 5 minutes. But if you put a little bit of time between eating that sleeve of Oreo cookies and actually eating them, most times our logic will kick in, a reminder of our goals will kick in. So if we know that we're going to food track it, it does help us to put the pause on, falling down that rabbit hole of temptation. Now, the habit of getting into food tracking to begin with is an education all unto itself, because a lot of times people don't realize, what's in the food that they're eating. And there's usually, all my clients that I get to start food tracking, there's usually an upgrade in quality and quantity of food right off the bat, but that's going to plateau, and then you're going to be confused as to, well, what should I actually be eating? So my suggestion is to not go to an online calculator. Well, you can. I want to tell you one of the pitfalls, and that would be if you've been chronically dieting, what might happen is that, let's say you've had a downgrade in your metabolism, and those online calculators are going to use your BMR based on an algorithm, and BMR is basal metabolic rate, and that online calculator might tell you, oh, you should be having 1,500 calories, and then you say how much activity you do, and then it might be, oh, you should be having 1,650 calories per day. It won't tell you your macros, or it could tell you your macros as well, but it doesn't take into account your current intake. So let's say you've been a chronic dieter and you're currently intaking about 1,000 calories a day. Then if you bump up to 1,500, 1,600, or whatever that online calculator is suggesting based on the facts that you give it, which is going to be height, weight, activity level, it's not going to take into account current intake, your stress level, your sleep level, a number of other factors that's going to make the difference. Because if you start taking in what the online calculator suggests, you might actually be gaining weight. So make sure you get some human interaction in terms of getting direction in how many calories, what your macros should be. Get some human, get a human to help you with that can calculate in those other factors that are like your dieting history, your health history. All those things are very important in determining what your starting point should be. And then remember that it's always a moving target. As your activity level goes, as your over time, as your appetite increases, that's actually a good thing. Because for the most part, a lot of my clients are under eating. So when you're under eating, if you start feeding your body regularly, it's more likely to get an upgrade in metabolism, which is what we're looking for. So I'm just really tired of people having the dieting mentality, because dieting never works. We always end the diet. Just a second. Hey, stop. Ooh, we have a dog dangerously close. Stop. We're fine, Sev. It's okay. In any case, if you're looking for that, one strategy, my suggestion is to try food tracking. And if you get a bit frustrated or need some help, DM me. I have a new video in my link in bio on Instagram. Head there, and that will give you some insight as well. And I'd love to help you out if you need a little direction. All right, I got to quiet these dogs down. Have an awesome day.